There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times.
Bro. Nah, I don't like that. I do not like that. Like, this is somebody else that tweeted this as well. Talking about with MrBeast and the Sunny V2 vid. Now that I'm recording. So this is one of the most dog shit videos I've ever seen. Sunny's decision to practically blame Chris for not taking MrBeast brand into account before transitioning, laughing my ass off. Imagine showing such little regard of the welfare of a human being. Lord, this shit got me heated as a motherfucker. I mean, rightfully so. Like, I get it. I think I would also be pissed off too. and now I'm just curious because I'm just like, well, damn, like, you know, we reacted to a couple of Sunny V2 vids, and there's certain things. Again, there's certain things it is I agree with, and there's certain things it is I'm just like, I don't really agree with that. But now I'm curious, and now I definitely, excuse me, I want to know to what it is. Like he said, this is a 9-minute vid. Yo, what's up, Clanny? How you done? He said, coming from someone under the, so coming from someone under the trans umbrella, this shit sucks. Bro, I cannot read today. Like, maybe I just need some water. Let me get a sip in before it is I start this vid. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this. Why Chris will soon be a nightmare for MrBeast. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't like the titling of this already because this sounds like it is like, it's very, like, the title alone for this video is a little off-putting. So let's go ahead. Let's react to it. Why Chris will soon be a nightmare for MrBeast. Let's get into this damn video. Let's do it.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as, "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Chris would
nothing wrong with that.
Highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating,
that comment right there, I don't like that top comment. Like that, you know, Mr. Joshua Rises, like, that's some hater shit right there. Like, come on now, like, come on now. It doesn't look that much different from what it is he originally looked like. But I mean, to sit there and say this is like, yeah, that's a stretch.
stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better." Yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild.
What is, I'm just confused. What is wrong? Because I know plenty of men who get their nails done and they're straights. Like, for that to be like a big thing before it is this man even like came out and said anything in regards about like his sexual orientation and his preferences and everything like that. Like, why does that fucking matter? That's not even something I'm like, bro. He said he has a whole wife and kids. Yes, I get that, but like, even still, like, that's not even a big deal. You know what I mean? I know he's married. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, I get it. He's married and with a kid, but like, again, it's like, I know plenty of people. I know plenty of guys who go ahead and get like their nails done. You know what I mean? And there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. You know what I mean? And he came out as bi a while ago. See, that I did not know. That I didn't know that. So you know, but even still, it's just like, bro, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal with his nails. You know what I mean? But
The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating how did Chris go from this to this, while others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty ridiculous as
what?
Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true
Listen, you know, hold on,
feminine,
God, I
and
think
Chris
he
had
was
come out
right.
as bisexual.
The man definitely said this before. He said, I think he got a divorce. I'm pretty sure. I mean, with at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised. He said, "Why didn't niggas care so much?" Right, like there's yeah, like it shouldn't. Like, I guess I get the whole thing of just like him being married and have a kid and whatnot. But there's a lot of people who go ahead and like they live the lives normally. Because you got to understand this, like people who are now like transgender, they're as much as it is like now like we there's a sense of openness that comes with this of like, hey, like people can now finally be who it is that they want to be without like, I mean, there, unfortunately you still have to deal with a lot of people that like we have to call it for what it is. Like trans people do are more subjugated to getting harmed than heterosexual. That is still an ongoing problem. It is that needs to be solved, that needs to be resolved and all that, because you know I don't want nobody to get fucking harmed, and you shouldn't get harmed for being who it is that you are at the end of the damn day. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my people of the LGBTQ plus community. I've always said this before, y'all always welcome here. But I mean, like, I can understand the leveling of just like, all right, maybe this is something it is, or like, okay, maybe like, oh, I'm this, maybe it is and I'm that, this is and this, you know, like just figuring out the who it is that you are. And unfortunately, like, yes, like you don't want to like drag along somebody else, like it hurt their feelings as well. But I do understand the essence of just like if this is who it is that you want to be, as long as it is that you have the people that support you with your decision, and you're okay with that, by all means, you know. Does Simba count as what, LGBTQ community? Yes. Like, listen, guys, Simba is lesbian. Yeah, she is. He said, plus, people have been saying his kid will lose like a father. Like, that's not necessarily true. I hate that, bro. Like, that's still gonna be like his dad. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's still gonna be his dad. But it will change certain things, but it won't change the fact of like that's still his parent at the end of the day. That will not change that. Regardless of what that is, it's not gonna change. Right, exactly.
Sexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails.
This is some hater shit. I'm sorry. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that is that people like, yo, bro, there's nothing worse than seeing YouTube comments because people have the audacity and they think that the certain things it is that they could say and like somebody's like videos, stuff like that is like, you know, like those things are hurtful as shit. And by all means, if this is what it is that Chris wants to do, like there is nothing wrong. Yeah, the emphasis on audacity. The people have the fucking nerve at times, but like this is not even that fucking necessary, bro. Like if the if Chris wanted to go ahead and transition, then there's nothing wrong with that. Like why is that? People making this a bigger deal than what it needs to be, right? The comments be so egregious, like it's so annoying. It is so freaking annoying. There's nothing wrong with this man. You know what I'm saying? Like if he wants to go ahead and get like like his nails done, he wants to go ahead and change up or whatever. If he wants to go ahead and this is who it is that I want to be and stuff like that. Why the does people care about that? Why? Why? Why do people care so freaking much, bro?
As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media.
I mean,
And
to
while
be
there was
fair, I would take a break too. If I was seeing comments and stuff like that, I would also want to take a goddamn break. It's just like, man, like, y'all motherfuckers is just rude as shit.
possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self. He'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this, before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times.
Bro. Nah, I don't like that. I do not like that at all. I love the fact that it's like, Mr. Beast and all of his other like friends around him was supportive with his decision. That actually very much warms my heart. Because again, like you have to realize it is for anybody to say it is. They're like, okay, I'm not happy with this and I want to transition. That is already a traumatic experience as it is, because you're like the level of acceptance, it's either one or two things. You're gonna have people it is that's gonna accept it, or you're gonna have people it is that's going to disown you because of it. Like unfortunately, there's no in between. And even anybody it is out of the LGBTQ community, once it is that they come out and say the who it is that they are, like they gotta think about it. This is like, bro, like some people, like it's either some people are going to accept it, or some people are literally gonna be like, nah, I'm not banging with this. But I don't like that. He said a good quote, but but he used it to be transphobic. Exactly. I don't like that. In the sense of how it is that he put that, like, no. Like, and this is why like it takes a bit of time for people to really come out and to say to who it is that they are and what it is that they are, is because of stuff that's like this. You know what I mean? As long as he had the support from like the people around him, that's all that fucking matters. And I'm happy it is like he seems to be a lot more happier as of now. But to say like this, like Evan, you ain't for that. You really ain't for that. Let me proceed.
Chris
forward.
responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love."
Bingo. That is a taught thing onto kids. Kids don't come out of the fucking the coochie with hate. That is something that is taught. So the fact that it's like you thought it is that you ate with that damn quote, like nah, no.
I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker. Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria," yet he'd also receive an
I feel like dysphoria and body dysmorphia is like it's such like a big thing that people experience with. I feel like everybody can like kind of relate to the fact of just like you don't feel comfortable in your own body in some form of way. There's something it is that I'm sure it's just like, damn, I wish it is I could fix this, or damn, I wish it is I could do this. I wish it is like blase blase, like this and this. Like everybody experiences those things. So now you get to a point to where it's just like, okay, I have a disliking to this so much that it's either one of two things. It's either I learn to accept this for everything that comes with it, or I do something about it to wanting to change it. And I cannot get on anybody about wanting to change that. And especially if it's going to make them happier in the long run. Like, who are we to sit there and to tell somebody else to what it is that they can and cannot do with their fucking body? And especially if it's gonna make them happier, like a happier, healthier person within the long run. Like nobody's fucking opinion even matters at that point. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like that. A lot of people struggle with oh, like I'm not happy within my body. This isn't this. Like a lot of people struggle with that. So I commend Chris for at least taking that step to go ahead and making those changes.
Equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will
Well, you fucking suck.
Get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received
Bingo.
praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe.
There's nah. See, you see why it is that I'm saying to where anybody like anybody that has to that is struggling with this as of right now, of wanting to come out and to really be themselves. This is the shit it is of that makes people just be like, am I ready to really go ahead and do this? You know what I mean? It gives a lot of apprehensiveness for people to actually say this and this. But then of course there comes a level of just man, I don't give a what anybody say. This is who it is that I am. And it's either you accept that for what it is, or you can get the about my way. You know what I mean? I hate shit like this, bro. I don't like the fact that mind you, these somewhat people with check marks and whatnot that's saying these damn comments. Bro, you started this, you was gonna eat with that fucking bullshit, bro. Why is this is making me angry. This is making me angry. Now I see what it is you was talking about. Because I'm already getting hot thinking about this.
MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life."
I didn't use 30 followers and a blue check mark. It makes me really think about this. People, you know what I'm saying? That blue check mark shouldn't be as accessible to people, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause it makes people think a little bit highly of themselves.
In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes," Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, MrBeast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful successful member in the first place. Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So
beast
you're
if
a
I got
Keemstar
it.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
I feel like people are focusing a little, like there's a sense of hyper focusedness on like, oh, this is gonna ruin his image, this, and this. And it's like, bro, I think people are thinking a little too deeply into it to where there's no need for. Like there's no need for it whatsoever. So I could see to why, some people are kind of saying it is like this a little off-putting with the video, and I kind of agree with that because like literally like there's no point with it. Like to say it's a nightmare, like to quote it as a nightmare is a bit of a stretch. Like there was no reason for why. I think like the ending of that kind of, what's up, Trickster? He said the LGBTQ people seem like nightmares and monsters to some people, and that shit hurts and it's sickening. Even for me, I go do a damn near homophobic school. It just sucks. Transphobia is a bitch, especially me coming from someone that's under the trans umbrella. Like this shit is a touchy ass subject. It can lead to a lot of hate into it as well. And it honestly puts genuine fear into me when I go out into the world. Exactly. This is kind of why I was saying like I don't know what is the big deal of Chris transitioning. Like what is that? It does not have to do with like anything at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like he's still going to be a parent. He's still going to be able to do content. And to sit there and kind of, it's weird to kind of put like that wording in Jimmy's mouth to be like, oh, well, this is going to happen, or, oh, he's going to lose his audience. This, and this. Since when did niggas ever focus on that in the whole duration of like learning about what like MrBeast and everybody else that's like within in the crew? Like it's a little weird. I think it means nightmare by the haters, which it is, because they have to just constantly see those fucked up comments, and Chris is obviously going to see them. So I'm thinking people are misplacing the nightmare part. I think so. I think like that nightmare wording is kind of, I don't think that's it's not the correct term. And it's very off-putting to put the word fucking nightmare in there, because it's gonna make it seem like it is. It's like, this is gonna cause a lot of drama. And I think it's the people that's in the comments that's making it more to what it needs to be. And I hate that. And coming from somebody that does content creation, I see how comments get. I see how YouTube comments get, like, people get the fucking audacity, the nerve, like the balls to go ahead and write certain things and and think it is that they fucking eat with these comments. It's like, bro, you like the definition of loud, and you want to know what the definition of loud and wrong is? Go into YouTube comments. Like, go into YouTube comments and literally see some of the things it is that people were saying. And it's just like, where, what did you think? Where did you think that that was going to be acceptable, or you was correct with what it is that you said? Like, some people just say weird shit behind a computer screen or a phone screen. Like, you out here like being a whole fucking thumb warrior and saying wrong shit, bro. Like, I just can't I just can't get with that. With that being said, hey, listen, I get it. I understand why. I understand why at this point, but interesting vid. Let's put it that way.